An integral part of the new Education Act is creating welcoming, caring, respectful, and safe learning environments. Over the past decade, a number of Alberta schools have used a school-wide approach to positive behavior supports. These schools report that when they work as a team to use this approach, a safe and caring learning environment flourishes. This approach is based on the pyramid of intervention, a model that illustrates the behavioral needs in a typical school population. Research shows that 80 to 85% of students demonstrate positive behavior when they have universal supports like positive interactions with adults, clear expectations, and differentiated instruction. Another 5 to 15% of students may have difficulty meeting basic behavior expectations and are at risk of developing serious behavior issues in the future. These students benefit from targeted supports like goal setting, mentoring, and social skills instruction. These supports help them develop new skills, making them less likely to develop more serious behaviors later on. At the top of the pyramid of intervention is the 1 to 7% of students who need intensive and individualized supports. This small group of students have behavior difficulties that significantly interfere with their learning and relationships with others. Many of these students also have medical conditions or disabilities that affect their behavior. Along with universal and targeted supports, these students need more intensive supports, including an individual behavior support plan. Students will likely require these supports for the long term. However, with the right kind of supports, you should see less of the problem behavior. A positive behavior support approach addresses the socio-emotional needs of all students in the school. It focuses on maintaining the positive behavior of most of the students by ensuring universal supports are in place, and then identifies that small percentage of students who need more targeted or intensive supports. At the core of this approach are positive relationships, not only between staff and students, but among students and among adults in the schools. How the school environment is structured is also important. For example, the majority of behavioral difficulties in schools happen during less structured times and in large common areas. Many of these difficulties can be eliminated through strategic adult supervision. Another important element is differentiated instruction. If students find learning too difficult or not challenging enough, or learning activities are not meaningful or relevant, they can be disengaged or misbehave. A differentiated instruction approach acknowledges that students learn in different ways and helps teachers create learning activities that align with students' abilities, interests, and needs. This approach also means establishing school-wide behavioral expectations that are clearly communicated and reinforced by all school staff. Positive reinforcement and fair and predictable consequences are key to a positive behavior support approach. School staff need to provide direct and differentiated feedback to students about what behavior is okay and what is not. We know that simply punishing specific behavior doesn't create long-term change or help students learn new behaviors. Punishment can actually increase negative behaviors like aggression, avoidance, and early school leaving. Consequences for negative behavior could include corrective feedback, completing self-reflections, and making restitution to those who were harmed. To implement a positive behavior support approach, schools need to collect relevant data and use it to clarify what, where, and when problem behaviors are occurring and who is involved. Schools can use this data to inform planning, make decisions, and monitor and measure success over time. A positive behavior support approach supports inclusion by creating environments where all students have the skills and attitudes they need to be engaged and successful learners. For more information on supporting every student, visit the Alberta Education website